We're on page 183, and I want to read you a footnote here before we go further. We're quoting the Rambam in Hilchot Menachim. The Rambam says there's a mitzvah for the king to honor Torah scholars. A king has to honor Torah scholars. When the Sanhedrin or other scholars come to him, he should stand for them and then seat them near him. The people who sit closer to the king are the ones who are more important. This is how Yehoshaphat, the king of Yehuda, would act with any Torah scholar. He would rise from his throne and kiss him and call him my master and teacher. Says the Rambam, when does this apply though? The king can't do this in front of everybody. When the king is alone at home with his servants, he should act this way privately, but not in public. Why not in public? Footnote on page 183.
Because they don't think that he's in charge of the king?
Right, it looks belittling to the king to do that to the Melech. He has to. But the king doesn't do that in public because he knows that in public there's a certain image that the king has to upkeep. To the same extent that the Torah grants a king great honor and all must honor him, it requires his heart to be humble and empty, as it says, and my heart is emptied within me, and he should not display too much pride. This is interesting halakha. And from here there's a famous question that is asked. There's a minhag, a Jewish custom, to stand up for the bride and groom for the 7 days after their wedding, because they're in this category of a king and a queen. The question is, should a rabbi stand up for a bride and groom? What's the question?
Oh, because usually a king and a queen a king would rise for the rabbi.
So now this adds to the question. Though when I heard the question being asked, the question was asked a little differently. It says in the Talmud, who are the kings of the Jewish people? Man Malki, Rabbanan, the rabbis. So does a king, the rabbi, stand up for another king, the bride and the groom?
I'd say yeah. Because it's, I don't know. Just because there's like a lot of honor when it comes to like getting married. It's like it's special. They're not going to be like that forever. It's only you only.
Oh, you're saying something good though. You're saying something good.
Yeah, like it's only.
They're not going to be that way forever. Who's the king all the time?
The rabbi.
The rabbi. So how does halakha work? Do you say Shabbat Shalom first or Chodesh Tov first?
The more common one.
The more common one first. In Judaism, that which is always is more important than that which is sometimes. Shabbat is more important than other holidays that happen only once a year. In our heads, we think, oh, it only happens once a year. No, to the contrary. That which happens all the time is more important in Judaism than the one that happens every once in a while.
So it's actually the opposite of what I said.
Very good. But what you're saying was a good point. Meaning you have to differentiate between the two kinds of kings. And therefore we say because the Talmid Chacham is a king the whole year, he doesn't have to stand up for a temporary king.
Okay. The only thing I would argue with that is that not everybody gets, you're supposed to only get married once. And so it's like a special occasion, like it's a special, really special.
Correct, but there could be damage in that kind of humility. I mean, the rabbi might stand up, but then it's like the king respecting the rabbi in public.
Okay.
Yeah. And one has to know when is public and when is in private. Today, a very strange thing. Today, the minhag is standing up for Talmidei Chachamim, especially here in San Diego, is very weak.
People just don't know.
They might not know.
They would do that for the rabbi in Jacksonville that I would have.
Halakha, no, don't stand. I'm not telling you that I'm talking about it. I'm seeing like when Rabbi Daniel was here, the Shabbat got up to speak. Really, everybody should have stood up for him when he stood up, and stood up again when he sat down. That's the halakha. And when our parents walks into the building, we all stay standing until he finds his seat. The whole village just stands. What about the rabbi's wife? The whole community has to stand for her also. People don't know this halakha. Not out of respect to her, by the way. Today, Baruch Hashem, there are many rabbaniyot you stand up for them because they are Torah scholars themselves. It used to be, we stood up for a rabbanit. Who knows if she even knew how to read? There was such a world once upon a time. We stood up because standing up for her is respecting your husband. There was such a...
Still exists, I think.
So here, Rabbeinu Abraham tells us now on page 182, this second paragraph. V'hatzna'at atzmo me'nei hatzibur. Hide from the public. Binyanim shebehem en tzorich le'arot lefanav. Hide from the public where there is no need for a public appearance. I'll give an example. When I used to give shiurim in Yerushalayim, I knew people would stand up when I walked into the room. So I would try to come first. That way, I'm already there. What are you going to do? Stand up, I'm already there. You came late. Why? It bothers me. It bothers me when I come in, and I know why they're standing up. It has nothing to do with me. Because Baruch Hu and the Torah. But to me, it's a nisayon. It's another test of arrogance. You know, you have enough tests with pride and arrogance in your day. You don't need more of them. So the way I saw it, I would come first. That way, everyone comes in afterwards. The Rambam, Rabbeinu Avraham is suggesting something similar. When you don't need to be in a place where everyone is going to respect you, don't be there. Avoid those kind of situations. I'm not telling you to hide yourself. Don't conceal your devoutness and your service of Hashem. That's not what I'm telling you. To the contrary, the spiritual leader has to show people how to serve Hashem. Has to lead by example when it comes to serving Kadosh Baruch Hu. But when you're among other tzaddikim, when you're among colleagues, lower yourself. Stop being the chief rabbi when you're among colleagues. It's always an interesting thing when, like this last rabbinic conference. What do you call another rabbi if you're also a rabbi?
Their name?
Do you drop the title?
No.
No.
Do you continue with the title?
Yes. We continue it.
But we're all friends. It's not here a rabbi and a student relationship.
I feel like it'd be like in the military, like if you're the same rank, you just call. They usually like drop the rank.
Is that what happens?
Yeah.
Is that the custom?
I mean, it depends. It depends on who you're with. You
Sorry,
know?
I have this allergy. I don't know what's going on over here.
I guess it depends on who you're around. You know, if you're around junior sailors, they would keep your professionalism. But if they're like we call it the chief's mess, like where all the chiefs, like kind of like a teacher's lounge, they're just friends, you know.
Okay, so by the Maaseh we still call each other Rabbi this, Rabbi that, Chacham this, Chacham that. But we don't come with our pride to the table. You come as colleagues who are sitting together. And that's important. It's important to have a place for you to go where you're not Mr. So-and-so, Dr. So-and-so, Rabbi so-and-so, Mrs. So-and-so, Rabbanit so-and-so. It's good to have that place where you're among peers.
Yeah, but if you're good friends with another rabbi, you would call him by his first name. But if you're in like a conference, you're a rabbi.
My parents won't even call me by my first name.
Your parents?
I have parents.
Oh, okay.
He considers it in the category of calling a Talmid Chacham by his first name, not using his title. But even though he could call whoever he wants. In fact, I don't know if you noticed, Shabbat, I don't call him Rabbi Kalandarev or whatever they would call him somewhere else. They go by his first name. Why? The Kehillat says that when you call somebody by their last name, it's actually inappropriate. It's considered disrespectful. I would say, Mr. Rosenberg, Dr. Rosenberg, whatever. I would use it. It's not fair. It's not nice. Say, what? Because that's his name. That's who he is. It doesn't mean you get rid of a title, but
It's actually a distancing.
it is this. But this distancing in Western culture has been deemed a sign of respect. Like I'm so respectful of you that I don't even have that relationship where I call you by your first name. In Eastern culture, the Jewish culture, it would be fine. Give him the title of respect. They worked for it, but call him by his first name. That's who he is.
How would you call somebody? How would you call Mario? Would you call him
Mario.
Okay, so.
But if I would call him Mr. Lopez, what is he at work over here?
I always hear people say like Rib Schneerson. Is that his first name?
No, it's
No,
last
it's
name.
Menachem, right?
No, the way it works on the street, even I call Harav Peretz. You know why? Because if I would call him Rabbi Yaakov, he told me that's what he would prefer. But in my upbringing in yeshivot, What are you going to call the Rosh Yeshiva his first name? Are you crazy? Are you
Yeah.
trying to get yourself killed? What? Now, I've spoken with him about this on Pilitz. He doesn't call anybody by their last names. In fact, he doesn't even know most of our last names. Pilitz might not remember maybe mine because it's Halevy. It's not a last name, it's a tribe. But for the most part, when you tell him someone by their last name, he has no idea who you're talking about. Think about it. So when you're among peers, what should you do? When you're eating, or you're sitting, or you're walking, or you're talking, in those times, lower yourself, humble yourself. משקל נגד 182. לאותו כבוד חיצוני הנדרש לו בכמה מקרים ויהיה בטוח מן הסטייה מן הענווה הפנימית שהענווה ישמור על הענווה לפניו יתעלה. You can do this to protect yourself from forsaking your inward humility and humility before Hashem. I'll give you an example. Hasidic rebbes oftentimes are surrounded by lots of staff. The gabbai, the second gabbai, the secretary, the coat carrier, the cane polisher, I don't know, whatever, all kinds of, titles. Oftentimes, and that's part of the entourage. The Rebbe walks around with his entourage. There's a pamalia, a group of people that walk with him everywhere he goes. You'll see sometimes that the tzaddikim, when it comes time to meeting with another tzaddik, they'll say, okay, everyone leave, clear the room. It's not for you. This is not, I'm not trying to show off now in front of my colleague. That's not the point. And there's something to that. There's something about having that place where you can not be always the leader, the arrogant one. It could cause problems. And Rabbi Yonatan tells us like we find by King David. שאמר חצות לילה אקום להודות לך. In the middle of the night I wake up to call out to you. קידמתי בנשב ואשבע. I rise before dawn and call out. חבר אני לכל אשר יראוך. I said this verse when I came here. When I came here, my wife and I had to figure out, so who are we going to get along with? Which groups in San Diego are we going to align ourselves with? My wife said, חבר אני לכל אשר יראוך. The policy should be, I am a friend to all those who revere you. Whoever has an honest relationship with Hashem, I'm willing to be with them. If they don't, it doesn't make a difference which interest is there and which doesn't help. It doesn't help. And normally those who are truly God-fearing will be friends with each other. Because it's not about their honor, it's not about their pride, it's not about their ego. I said, we say this in my house, we taste Pazuk a lot. I'm a friend to whoever will fear you. And you can find in many other places that of David HaMelech that he was free from any kind of ego, arrogance, anything like that. Until he was so innocent of any kind of arrogance that he told Hashem, "Chaneni Hashem v'naseni, test me. Tzarfa chilyotai v'libi, check out my innards, my every part of me. V'amar od, chokureni el v'da levavi, examine me Hashem, search me, and know my heart. Chaneni v'da sarapai, ureh im derech otzev bi, see if I followed the displeasing way." There's a famous rule in law enforcement. When a person's asked to search their car, search their bag, search whatever else, and they say no, more often than not, it's because there's something hiding there. If a person say, okay, there are people who stand up for their constitutional right to not be searched. I'm not talking about this faction of the world. What are you hiding? What do you have to hide from everybody? If I have what to hide, so then I don't feel comfortable, people start looking around. You can see this sometimes. People like, I don't want to give an example. Maybe it's too close now. There are some people that are always covering things up. They don't want you to be around certain parts of their life, certain people in their life, because they're afraid of what you're going to find out. Because the image that they put up for everybody is, another person says, listen, call, ask about me. I'm not hiding anything. Look, you want to come search my house? Search my house. What are you going to find? Some dirty laundry. What are you going to find? Nothing. It feels really good to be able to say that about yourself to Hashem. Imagine standing in front of Hashem in Yom Kippur and saying, Hashem, examine me. there's nothing in me that I did wrong this year. Can you imagine being on such a level? We treat David HaMelech like he was our friend. David HaMelech stands in front of Hashem and says, check me out, look. Find my flaw of gava, of ego. That sounds like a pretty haughty thing to say. But in the Torah, we're taught that being honest is not haughty. It's okay for you to say, I'm a good person, if you really are a good person. Don't flaunt it in everybody.
You can be humble, but still like be confident in yourself.
Sure, right, that's a good term. Humble, but confident. To know who you are, even though you're humble.
Rabbi Uziel says that.
Very good. And next, we're going to talk about the praise of the humble. That's for next week. Let's study Shabbat.